On July 7, 2021, investigators searched a wooded property in rural Wisconsin. Hidden beneath branches, they discovered human remains. Just days earlier, 23-year-old Chandler Halderson had insisted that his parents were enjoying a weekend trip to their family cabin. Detectives already knew that story wasn't true. What they didn't yet know was how many lies Chandler had been living for years. At first, this looked like a missing persons case. Bart and Krista Halderson had suddenly disappeared, leaving behind no phone calls, no messages, and no explanation. Their son appeared concerned and willingly spoke with investigators. But as detectives began verifying his story, almost every important detail started falling apart. Long before anyone disappeared, Chandler Halderson had built an entire life around deception. Friends believed he was a college student preparing for graduation. His parents believed he had accepted a prestigious engineering position with space. Even his girlfriend thought they would soon be moving to begin a successful new chapter together. None of it was true. Chandler was born in 1998 and grew up in Windsor, Wisconsin, just outside Madison. His father, Bart Halderson, worked in accounting for a technology company. His mother, Krista, worked in healthcare administration. Friends later described them as hard-working parents who cared deeply about their children and believed education opened every door. Bart especially valued honesty. People who knew him said he wasn't an aggressive parent, but he expected responsibility. If Chandler needed help, Bart was there. He paid bills, offered advice, and believed his son simply needed time to find his path. For years, Chandler convinced everyone that path was already planned. He claimed to be enrolled at Madison Area Technical College, studying information technology. He talked confidently about assignments, professors, exams, and graduation. Family members had no reason to doubt him. But records later obtained by investigators told a completely different story. Chandler had stopped making real academic progress long before. Some classes had been failed, others were dropped. Eventually, he was no longer moving toward a degree at all. Yet the lies continued almost every day. Rather than admit the truth, Chandler created a fictional version of his life. He invented stories about coursework, blamed administrative delays, and assured his parents' graduation was just around the corner. Every question received another believable answer. Then came the biggest lie of all. Chandler announced that he had accepted a job with SpaceX. According to him, he would soon relocate to Florida to begin work with one of the world's most respected aerospace companies. It was exactly the kind of achievement his parents had always hoped for. Bart was thrilled. Friends later testified that he proudly spoke about Chandler's future. Years of hard work, financial support, and encouragement finally seemed to be paying off. The family began discussing Chandler's upcoming move and everything that would come with it. But investigators later confirmed there was never a job offer. SpaceX had no employment records for Chandler. The emails he showed his parents were fake. The hiring process, interviews, and paperwork existed only inside the story he had carefully created. Keeping that story alive became increasingly difficult. Every lie required another lie. Chandler fabricated explanations for delayed paperwork, changing start dates, and missing documents. The more detailed the questions became, the more complicated his answers had to be. His girlfriend believed him too. Like Chandler's parents, she had no reason to suspect that the future they discussed together existed only in his imagination. Looking back, investigators would later describe Chandler as someone who had constructed an entire false identity and spent years protecting it. Everything began to unravel in the summer of 2021. Bart wanted to help Chandler prepare for his new career. According to testimony presented at trial, he started asking practical questions about the SpaceX position, employment paperwork, relocation, and graduation records. This time, simple excuses would no longer be enough. The pressure on Chandler increased dramatically. For the first time, there was a real possibility that every lie he had told for years would be exposed within days. Investigators would later argue that this growing pressure became the turning point in the case. No one could have imagined that the conversation about a fake job would soon become the beginning of one of the most disturbing family murder investigations. Behind the scenes, Bart had already started checking Chandler's claims for himself. According to testimony presented during the trial, he wanted to verify Chandler's college records and better understand why there were so many delays surrounding the SpaceX job. The questions became more frequent, and Chandler was running out of believable answers. Investigators later learned that Bart had planned to speak directly with people connected to Chandler's education and employment. Whether Chandler knew every detail of those plans remains unclear, but prosecutors argued that he understood one thing: the truth was about to come out. If his parents discovered he had lied about college, they would also discover there was no engineering career, no relocation to Florida. Years of deception would collapse almost overnight. According to prosecutors, Chandler believed he had reached a point where he could no longer maintain the life he had invented. Every fake email, every fabricated conversation, and every excuse had bought him time. But time was running out. The last confirmed evening Bart and Krista were seen alive was June 30th, 2021. Nothing appeared unusual. Friends and relatives had no reason to believe anything was wrong inside the Halderson home. The following morning, both parents were gone. When relatives and friends began asking questions, Chandler immediately provided an explanation. He claimed Bart and Krista had unexpectedly left with family friends for a long weekend at a cabin near the Wisconsin River. He said they had decided to disconnect from their phones and enjoy a few quiet days away. At first, the explanation sounded reasonable. Summer cabin trips were common, and there seemed to be no obvious reason to doubt him. But detectives follow evidence, not assumptions. When investigators contacted the friends Chandler had mentioned, the story immediately began to fall apart. They told detectives there had never been a planned trip. They weren't expecting Bart and Krista, and they hadn't seen either of them. That single interview completely changed the direction of the investigation. Detectives now knew Chandler's timeline contained a major lie. As officers continued speaking with him, Chandler remained calm. He answered questions politely, repeated the same story, and insisted he had no idea where his parents were. On the surface, he appeared cooperative. But experienced investigators noticed something unusual. Chandler rarely asked whether new leads had been found. He showed little curiosity about where search teams were looking or whether anyone had reported seeing his parents. By itself, that behavior proved nothing. People react to stress differently, but detectives never rely on a single observation. They compare behavior with evidence. Next came the family's digital footprint. Investigators obtained search warrants for phones, computers, online accounts, and social media records. Every device inside the Halderson home became potential evidence. One application quickly attracted investigators' attention. Many people assume messages sent through Snapchat disappear forever. But detectives weren't interested only in messages. They were interested in timestamps, account activity, and location data. When investigators compared Chandler's movements with information recovered from his phone, they discovered that parts of his story no longer matched where he had actually been. Detectives also began reviewing surveillance cameras from homes and businesses near the Halderson residence. Piece by piece, they started reconstructing Chandler's movements after his parents disappeared. The more evidence they collected, the less believable Chandler's version became. Then investigators received another critical lead. Someone reported suspicious activity on a rural property in Dane County. Detectives responded, not yet knowing that what they were about to discover would transform a missing persons investigation into a homicide case. Hidden in the woods, investigators located human remains. The discovery confirmed their worst fear. Bart and Krista had not gone on vacation. Someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to make them disappear. From that moment forward, detectives were no longer searching for two missing parents. They were building a murder case. Forensic investigators immediately secured the rural property where the remains had been discovered. The scene was processed over several days. Every bone fragment, every piece of clothing, and every item found nearby was carefully photographed, documented, and collected for laboratory analysis. The remains were later identified as Bart Halderson through forensic examination and DNA testing. Investigators now had confirmation that Bart had been murdered. The missing persons investigation officially became a homicide case. Medical examiners determined that Bart had died from a gunshot wound. The condition of the remains also showed that someone had attempted to dismember and conceal the body after death. Prosecutors would later argue that this wasn't a crime committed in panic, but a calculated attempt to destroy evidence. As detectives continued searching, another discovery followed. Additional human remains were located in a different rural area several miles away. Those remains were later identified as Chandler Halderson. Investigators now believed the bodies had been transported separately in an effort to complicate the investigation. Attention quickly returned to the Halderson home. Crime scene technicians spent days processing the property using chemical reagents, alternate light sources, and detailed forensic photography. Although the house had been cleaned, investigators believed traces of the crime still remained. Laboratory testing revealed blood evidence inside the residence that could not be explained by Chandler's version of events. Experts testified that attempts had been made to clean portions of the home, but modern forensic techniques were still able to detect biological evidence. Investigators also recovered tools that became important during the trial. Prosecutors alleged that several of those items had been used during the dismemberment of Bart and Krista. Forensic testing linked some of the recovered evidence directly to the victims. Digital evidence continued strengthening the prosecution's case. Cell phone records showed Chandler traveling to locations connected with the disposal sites. His movements matched neither the timeline he gave detectives nor the story he told friends after his parents disappeared. Investigators also analyzed internet activity from devices used inside the Halderson home. Search history, account activity, and electronic records became part of a much larger timeline that prosecutors presented to the jury. Meanwhile, detectives interviewed Chandler's girlfriend several times. She described the future Chandler had promised her: graduation, a successful engineering career, and a new life after moving for his SpaceX job. She had believed every word. As investigators shared more evidence with her, that future quickly unraveled. She learned that Chandler had never graduated, never worked for SpaceX, and had spent years maintaining a completely fabricated life. Her testimony became an important part of the prosecution's case. Friends also described Chandler as someone who always seemed to have an explanation. Whenever plans changed or questions arose, he immediately offered another story. Looking back, several witnesses admitted that details which once seemed believable suddenly appeared carefully constructed. Detectives compared those witness statements with Chandler's interviews. Time after time, they found contradictions. Small inconsistencies by themselves might have meant very little. Together, they formed a pattern that prosecutors argued demonstrated deliberate deception. Investigators also examined surveillance footage from businesses and roadways near the disposal sites, combined with digital evidence. Those recordings helped establish Chandler's movements during the critical days after his parents were killed. By the time the investigation was complete, prosecutors had assembled a case built almost entirely on forensic science, digital evidence, witness testimony, and Chandler's own lies. There was no single piece of evidence that solved the case alone. Instead, detectives described it as a puzzle. Every recovered fragment, every phone record, every surveillance video, every witness statement, and every false explanation added another piece. Together, they revealed a picture that investigators believed pointed to only one person. When Chandler Halderson was arrested and charged with the murders of Bart and Krista, detectives believed they had finally assembled the full picture. But proving that theory in court would require far more than suspicion. Every claim would have to be supported by evidence, and every lie would be tested before a jury. When the trial began in January 2022, prosecutors did not rely on a confession. They relied on evidence. Their strategy was simple: prove that every independent piece of the investigation pointed to the same conclusion, even if no one had witnessed the murders themselves. Prosecutors argued that the case was never about a single piece of evidence. Instead, they showed jurors how dozens of separate discoveries fit together like pieces of the same puzzle. On their own, some facts seemed ordinary. Together, they told a very different story. One of the first subjects presented in court was Chandler's double life. Jurors saw official college records, confirming he was nowhere near graduation. Investigators also proved that the SpaceX job Chandler had described for months had never existed. The prosecution argued that these lies explained the motive. Bart had begun asking questions Chandler could no longer answer. Detectives believed Chandler feared the truth would soon be exposed to his parents, his girlfriend, and everyone else who believed his carefully created image. Digital evidence became one of the strongest parts of the prosecution's case. Cell phone records, account activity, and location data allowed investigators to reconstruct Chandler's movements during the days surrounding his parents' disappearance. Detectives showed that several of those movements were consistent with locations where Bart's and Krista's remains, along with other evidence, were later recovered. Prosecutors argued that the digital timeline directly contradicted Chandler's statements to police. Crime scene investigators described the forensic examination of the Halderson home, although efforts had been made to clean parts of the residence. Laboratory testing revealed biological evidence that investigators believed was connected to the murders. Medical examiners explained how the remains were identified through forensic examination and DNA analysis. They also described the injuries suffered by both victims and the evidence showing that their bodies had been intentionally moved to separate locations after their deaths. Chandler's girlfriend also testified. She told jurors she had believed he was finishing college and preparing to begin a career with. During the investigation, she learned that nearly everything he had told her about his future had been fabricated. Friends and family members shared similar experiences. Many said Chandler always seemed to have an explanation whenever something didn't make sense. Looking back after his arrest, they realized those explanations had simply been more lies protecting the ones that came before. Throughout the trial, Chandler remained quiet. He chose not to testify in his own defense, which was his legal right. Instead, jurors focused on the evidence presented over several weeks of testimony from detectives, forensic specialists, and other witnesses. The defense argued that the case was entirely circumstantial, and that prosecutors had not proven exactly what happened inside the Halderson home. They suggested that important questions still remained unanswered. Prosecutors responded that homicide cases are often solved without eyewitnesses or confessions. They argued that forensic science, digital evidence, witness testimony, and Chandler's own false statements all supported the same conclusion beyond a reasonable doubt. After hearing weeks of testimony, the jury began deliberating. Their decision came only a few hours later. Chandler Halderson was found guilty on every count, including 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. He was also convicted of mutilating a corpse, hiding a corpse, and providing false information during the investigation. The judge sentenced him to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Chandler later appealed his convictions, arguing that errors had occurred during the investigation and trial. The Wisconsin Court of Appeals rejected those arguments. In 2026, the Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to review the case, leaving every conviction in place. Today, investigators still point to the Halderson case as an example of how modern homicide investigations are built. No single clue solved the murders. Instead, detectives combined forensic science, digital evidence, witness testimony, and countless small inconsistencies until the truth became impossible to ignore. For many people, the most disturbing part of this case isn't only how Bart and Krista died, it's how completely Chandler convinced the people closest to him that his fictional life was real. For years, almost no one questioned the story he had created. In the end, it wasn't one mistake that exposed Chandler. It was hundreds of small details that could no longer fit together. And once investigators started separating the truth from the lies, the entire illusion collapsed. If you enjoy true crime documentaries, criminal investigations, and real cases where patient detective work uncovers the truth piece by piece, subscribe to The Last Call. Because sometimes the most dangerous lies are the ones that seem completely believable until every single one begins to fall apart.